Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning.
Good morning, Panos. Or good afternoon.
Yeah, it's still morning here for another hour.
Yeah.
He's from Europe, Dublin, right?
Yes, I'm in Dublin.
Yeah.
Anybody else in this time zone? No.
Hi, Victor. Just wait for a few more minutes for others to join. Good morning, John.
Good morning.
Yeah, Nirav sent a note. He's not able to join today. He wanted us to do the offline review of his paper. Let's wait whether we can get with George or Chuckman. Also mentioned he will be able to join today. Yeah, George sent a note. He's not feeling well today. He's not able to attend. Maybe let's get started, and if others able to join, then we can do a quick circle back. Do you have 3 more people join today? New, maybe we can do a quick intro. We have Jeff and Victor, as well as Aaron Zio. Do you guys want to do a quick intro? Then we can get to the agenda today.
Sure. Jeff Otter with Hewlett Packard Enterprise. I also co-chair the Redfish Forum in the DMTF organization. So here today from some of the sustainability pieces that may have been on the agenda today.
Good, thank you.
Hi, and my name is Aran Ziv, and I'm from Sunrise Memory. We are part of the OCP, and I'm listening in. We're a startup working on memory. Thanks.
Okay, welcome, Aaron.
Yeah, this is Victor Liu. I'm an independent, more of an interest at this point. Just
Okay. Hey, Victor, welcome. Good morning, Changaji.
Good morning.
I will probably introduce myself. I'm Samina Chimuthu from Intel. I'm leading this CSM work group. We've been meeting for the last couple of years on this topic on cloud service management. Welcome to the team. And Panos, you want to do a quick intro before?
Yes, I'm Panos Christeas from Meta. I've been with this team for a couple of years as well, working on this mainly on the telemetry side, the design that we want to propose, and also working with George and the others here on the IMA specifications or the IMA model that we want to recommend.
Okay, thank you. John?
John Leung. I'm in the IC rep to the hardware management project. And I also like to mention that Jeff Otto is project lead or co-project lead.
Yes, thanks, John.
Yes. Thank you, John. Changaji? I think your mic is...
I'm sorry. Hi guys. Nice to meet you. I'm Changwa Choi. I'm working with this group several years from the beginning with Semi and Panos. Nice to meet you guys again.
Okay. Thank you. Today, I think let's go to the agenda. I think agenda is new. Do we have any opens before we can start other items here?
A little
Good.
thing that I've been owing you all this time is I visited telemetry spec, formerly spec document. I changed the license to make it CC0. Actually, I need to check because I copy pasted the CC. Is it 4 or 0 anyway? To change it to Creative Commons license, and also change a little bit of the wording so that it does not refer itself as a spec, but rather as a design, like a white paper. Because I suppose our intention here is to recommend it as a design that could lead into a spec once the stakeholders can agree to it.
Yeah, thank you for posting. I believe you have an item on the agenda. I think you are covering. That's good. So
Where's that document posted?
So this is in the same folder, the same document that we have been working on. Like we can share the link in the chat. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
It's under telemetry latest, John. And I think, Kevin, thank you for updating it, Panos. Let us review it. Let us give an IR for this team to review it and give our comments. I think the another question for this one, I believe the main thing is we want to release this white paper or document. And after that, we want to take this Redfish model to the DMTF. Do we have the work done, Panos, to...
Sammy?
Yeah.
For the agenda, are we going to talk about something else before we get to this topic?
It is one of the line item he covered as part of the open item. So I was thinking we can address it and come back, or we can talk other item and come back here.
I think we should follow the agenda.
Okay. Any other opens? Okay. If not, the other item, but we have an agenda is we are want to transition our CSM work group to hardware management. I think since Jeff and John is here, I think we are planning to get a time for us to meet from OCP side to present the case for CSM moving to hardware management work group. Once we get the meeting completed, we will come back and give an update to this team.
So I'd like to share something which I think we're going through, which I sent out to you as far as this migration. And do you guys see this?
Yes.
So this is the overall strategy of hardware management project, and the project leads have not validated this, but basically the general structure and the red marks are the work streams or projects, sub-projects trying to enter the hardware management project, which all need to be placed. So we're trying to figure out exactly where they get placed within the overall structure. So this is the cloud service model here, because you guys are dealing with the in-band side of the management telemetry. So unless you guys have any issue with it, we'll try to pursue. We'll keep this the way it is.
It's not just the in-band management side, John. What we are looking is overall fleet management in general, right? In-band management is part of it, where we were missing the in-band management part. I think that's one of the reasons we were spending time there.
Right.
And also when we look at the LCM, also we were trying to propose a generic AI model for fleet management, things like that. So it kind of comes kind of overall. How do you take fleet management at scale, right? I think that's a problem we are trying to solve.
Well, fleet management is orchestration, correct? Or is it something else? Because I could just raise this box up to here and just say you're trying to get all the way up between in-band all the way up to the orchestrator.
We can put one way of describing that, but I don't know whether orchestration communicates that meaning. Anybody else? Any comments there?
Because you have clear space up here. We can put some management domain.
Can you clarify what is the scope of orchestration?
So all these are the interface down here is platform level. So at the platform, there's an out-of-band and in-band interface to it. The BMC is the arbitrator between that which is a node exposes off-platform to be managed remotely, and the stuff which is internal to underneath the BMC southbound. That's where these two reside. So above that, they can feed directly into orchestrator, in that there's a single orchestrator that understands every single node and manages it accordingly. There's a possibility of these nodes being aggregated together into a rack. So the orchestrator now deals with racks as opposed to each individual node. And that reduces the amount of manageability he has to go do. He can go delegate stuff to the rack manager and not have to go micromanage everybody. So that's what the orchestrator does, is the orchestrator is in charge of managing the entire data center compute environment.
So my input would be that CESM is somewhere above the rack manageability and before orchestrator. You probably
Okay, so if I did this, that'd be okay?
it goes a little bit above that.
Huh?
You need to create a little more space between rack manageability and orchestrator, because we are talking about hundreds of racks, right? It's not just one rack.
Oh yeah, but the size of this doesn't tell you whether it's one rack or two racks.
Right.
Just say you're just telling me it's above the rack abstraction, and that's fine.
Not really. There is a additional interfaces.
So you can think of data center management, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So we are talking about data center manageability, not rack manageability alone. Of
Well,
course,
I
you're
understand. I understand that, but you can manage through a rack or through a node. So you're above the rack management interface, which is set where you want to be.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, I think with this scope here, I think that's okay.
Okay.
Maybe I just want to add one more suggestion or comment that when it comes to the hyperscale cloud, even though the unit is rack level, you're right, But then there are components are defined and implemented that manage multiple racks or clusters. Like for example, an AI cluster, training cluster, right? And we have, let's say, 256 racks. And there's a networking involved there, front end, back end, and then we have to orchestrate the whole cluster.
Right. Well, oh
Right.
yes, there's a notion of a cluster interface. It's just that there's no concept of an OCP to deal with it. If Cloud Service Model comes in and says, "Hey, we need a cluster manager interface," then we can go have that discussion within this diagram. But this diagram is not assuming to be complete. It is
Correct.
only defines what is complete within what OCP is working on.
Right.
So think of projects, Anil, rather than think of this is a rack representation or a data center representation, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll just add one more thing is that some of the GPU efforts going on right now, right? They eventually going into that direction. Even though they are still operating in the component level, but the game plan or thought process is to, through the OCP, develop the interfaces to manage a cluster. Just keep in mind. I mean, I'm not saying we need to.
And that's fine. That's what all this is trying to do is carve a domain for you guys and a charter for you guys to go deal with, right?
Yeah.
A charter that doesn't overlap with anybody else. And if you and GPU management get together and define an additional charter separation, that's fine. I don't care, right? As long as we look at this and we don't have people colliding over management domains, right? And then we have to figure out how to go do it. It's much easier to give everyone a clear charter of you own this and no one else owns it. And if anyone goes into that space, you tell us and we'll kick them out, right? That's
a good point. Yeah, that's a good point.
Makes sense. Thanks.
John, I think you gave me the best segue that because I wanted to also echo Anil and say what we have been doing in these 2 years plus is worry about the scalability of what OCP has done already for a single node, assuming that it can scale up to a rack. But our group has been dealing with this question of will it scale well to the cloud, to the hyperscale numbers, right? And also things that are not necessarily down to the level of a single node, but have to do with the aggregation and the problems that arise when you have combinations of systems, not individuals. So I think our domain is closer described that as that, or up until what we did until now, right? There is the IMA, which is de facto in one node, but the aggregation and the life cycle and the telemetry sharing model does not worry about a node. It worries about the aggregation problem, about scaling and extending that model beyond an individual device or a rack that you can place somewhere. So perhaps this could be a start for our charter of how we can still define the CSM kind of work stream.
I think, John, when we are putting here, when it shows to the inbound, it kind of makes a feeling that is cloud service model comes from orchestration and deals with inbound. I think we want to make sure that it covers at a rack level out of band to anything, all the data coming from all the layers, right? I don't know how easily can represent this one. We want to have a connectivity for other things, right?
Sami, if I may say, cloud service model could be a block that is around everything in this picture, but I don't want to claim all these things.
Right.
I think
a better representation would be a different dimension. Like if this diagram, the rest would repeat X times to represent X number of nodes, the cloud service model is the one that goes along that dimension and brings all that together.
right? And that's the limitation of a 2D model. And I don't plan to make this a 3D model, but it can be dealt with in text, right? So what is unique about the cloud service model is it does deal with the in-band, and it also deals with out-band, but I can't stretch this box bigger than that. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Any other comments? Tim?
I have one question.
Yeah, the only. Go ahead.
Sorry, this is a little bit orthogonal question. RAS API. I don't know why this box went out. I thought this was within the fault management domain. Is there any reason why this gets separated?
Again, that is why charter was never defined, right? When it came in, it's defined as a work stream underneath hardware management project.
So think of Anil, it's not a system representation, this is our group representation.
Right. And again, the project leads, the hardware management project leads define charter and define who owns what, right? RAS can't just say, hey, we're going to be part of fault management, right? The project leads need to be in control of what's happening here. So I understand there's a lot of people saying, hey, you're doing RAS, GP, you got RAS in you, we should be working together. That's all wonderful, guys. But charter dissemination comes from the project hardware management project leads.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I'll work with RAS API team so that we don't create a more fragmentation, and it just looks weird that we are working on the same thing, but it's still weird having a separate charters and all that.
Okay.
Thanks.
Chuck, when you got a comment?
Yeah, no, I'll just reserve my comment for John. When you send this out, I'll just make some suggestions along with others on how you may better represent how CSM and some of the other work streams tie in or interdependent, right? With the pictorial you're showing right now. So I'll provide that offline.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. If no other comments, then let's move on to the next item here. I think Panos already mentioned that he made the changes to the document, and he posted the link. And for the team here is to review, especially. I think we have the authors listed there, right? We want to make sure that they're reviewing it and getting an approval.
Actually,
from
I have a question, since I announced this some moments ago. Do we have a clear intention to go for a CC0 or a CC4 license? Because I copy pasted a CC4 preamble from another white paper I could find, but do we have? I remember we talked about the CC0. So is it the intention to relicense that into OCP or DMTF in a way that we need the CC0, or can we go with something more restrictive there?
Michael, you're online, and thank you for joining.
Yeah, hey Sammy, I apologize. I only got audio towards the end, so heard CC0 or something more restricted, but I'm not sure what that is in relation to. I'm assuming white paper.
That's a white paper, yes.
So yeah, the two ways that OCP looks at licensing for white papers is we do use the CC0, the Creative Commons license. That's the most common lead on. If folks do want something that is a bit more restrictive, the other option that we have is for a copyright license. So that is, signing, saying, hey, we still retain all the copyrights. We own all of this. We are allowing OCP to list this, and it can be used, under the bounds of that license on the OCP website, and downloaded there, etc. That's different from the Creative Commons, which just opens it up to whoever. It opens it up to the entire world.
So Panos, your question is, are you
No,
okay
I suppose I suppose we had an initial agreement for a public license in the first place. Like I converted that from the creative, from the OCP contributions license that we had, which is kind of open. So I'm just asking about the distinction of a license that will retain itself from a license that we waive all rights and we allow this to be copied or reused in any form or different license. So just because we had discussed about that a few months earlier, I wanted to ask, like, what's the recommendation there?
Yeah, so the recommendation from the foundation would be to use the OCP copyright license agreement. If there was a desire for an even more restrictive license, it's something that we could talk about, but it's not something that we've done in the past. The white papers have only ever gone underneath the OCP copyright license agreement or the Creative Commons. So it might involve a larger discussion.
Okay, I may take that offline then. We can.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd be happy to have a
Mm.
conversation with you about it.
Yeah. I believe asking Chango, Sami, George, who's not here, and Chakwini, I believe we have the initial buy-in from all our companies to release that in public, right?
Yes, from
that's correct. From
Yes.
Microsoft as well.
Yes, so also Samsung point of view, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think given the license change, we do need to we need to follow our internal process to get the change before we can say yes on to this. I think so. Maybe a couple of things here, right? Michael, if you can, we will send you the link. If you can take a link and make sure that we are okay with the wording here, then we would like to follow our internal process or each company's internal process to give a green light before we can say that it's ready to go, right?
That sounds great.
Okay. So I think Panos, if you can send a note, or if you want me to send a note, I can send a note to Michael too.
Yes, if you want to send a note,
Sure.
like the link is already in the chat of this meeting, but we can send a note and ask the question there.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments on this topic? If not, there is a DC lifecycle management white paper. Is working on it, and he posted that white paper on the. Let me post the link. So we were trying to get the LCM presentations ready, and also as part of the presentation, we want to get a content ready for the presentation. Nira was championing to get the white paper written along with input from us. He made the updates, but he is not able to make it today. I'm kind of looking whether we want to review it here or we want to do a offline review and give him a feedback. I will paste the link in a minute. I think probably maybe not a good time for, no, I think it's posted wrong one, sorry. Looking for the link, hold on. given there is this content is about yeah, it's still not complete. I think I didn't had a chance to look at it before. I think it's just his mail half an hour back. I think he needs more further update before we can spend time to review here. What do you guys think?
I believe that it needs some work, and especially in the expansion of topics, we may just need to write short descriptions to say, okay, this is that, and not try to resolve everything down to the very granular level.
Right.
So, like, explain what is end of life, what is, I say, configuration here, like, or orchestration, something. Just define it and leave it there so that this document is good enough, is complete for as a reference.
Yeah, let me take him or with him offline. I think this is probably not ready to spend a lot of time here. So on the next topic, so George is also not here today. He's sick. Anil, do you have any updates to the presentation that you are working with George? Or
I have received one slide from John. There was some input suggested, and I got some more input from last week when I presented to hardware fault management. So I'm in the process of editing this content. George and I are having offline discussion. In fact, we'll have one right after this meeting. Hopefully you will join. So yeah, we will work on it. Hopefully by next week, we'll have the final, at least final version that we can have offline review. I don't think we need to come back here, do we? Maybe we can come back, no problem with that, but not sure.
we can come back, maybe not immediately, maybe, but I would like to spend some time is for panel preparation. We want to spend some time to review. I think that is one session we want to spend some time. We will come back to that item probably end of the month. I think 28th is the one, 29th. I need to look at the date. OCP is asking to complete all the presentation and upload to the portal. So we can take one more week before we can spend time. I would like to make sure that LCM side contents are good. I think that's one of the time we really need to spend time with Nirav and get that ready. Probably next week. Probably the way I think I'm looking at it is, it might need more policing. And I think what we'll do is just to reset the plan, right? Let us spend some time on LCM next week. And the following week, we can close any presentation that we want to upload. Is it ready? And if we can get those things done, we want to spend some time on the panel questions and discussion preparations there in the following week. And Anil, you're okay there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe just open question. This presentation is going to be part of Future Technologies Initiative, right? FTI, which is on Wednesday.
It's going to be FTI, and if we can, yes, it's a presentation and panel is going to be part of Future Technology Initiative Wednesday. It starts at 2:30 and goes till 4:10. But after this year's FTI, we want to formally before that, we want to formally move to the hardware management sub-work stream. I think until for that, we need to get a closer. I think there is a meeting we are trying to schedule with the hardware management. Once we get a confirmation, then we can basically move to the New York stream umbrella.
So, Sami, are we going to announce that we were moving out of FTA at least? Like, I suppose we will not announce that we were moving into hardware management unless this is ready by that time. Are we going to announce that that's our last?
No, I think the plan, Panos, we want to get the work streams created, and we want to. There is, if you look at it, the agenda itself, we are saying transition announcement is part of that agenda. So we would like to get that completed before Global Summit.
So,
Okay.
so Jeff, we don't have an issue of them naming hardware management project as where they're transitioning to, right?
No, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, so I would say, yeah, you're transitioning the hardware management project to say that'll be worked out.
Right.
So, like, what we need to work ideally by then is our charter.
We are moving same charter underneath instead of FTI. We are moving under the hardware management. Again, we can look at the text, and if anything need to be updated, we can modify it. Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe I think that is another thing. Let's also do some offline work, review the text currently available, and do any updates that we want to do before the announcing the work stream. Right.
And we're going to handle, as we said last week, we're going to handle the sub work stream for IMA, for life cycle management under our work stream, correct?
So given we don't want to create too many work stream, Panos, I think what we want to do is probably like we'll schedule, sub works going to happen. We need to have a clarity in agenda to really say, maybe this week we are not going to spend like what we are doing, right? We were kind of cycling through the agenda with the multiple different works. We should streamline it and make sure that 1 week you are covering on a particular area. So the people who's attending, interested in that topic, we can come and attend rather than every single meeting, right? So I think we need to have some clear planning ahead on different works that we are going to do.
So if not for clear charters of the substreams, our intention in the Global Summit is to describe that we will be working with substreams and call for participation.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Any comments? If not, I think we can go 20 minutes back. And I think 2 ARs, I think 2 or 3 main ARs, right? One is really we want to close the white paper legal stuff and make sure that we can get that out before the Global Summit. That I think we need to do the offline work and close it. Second thing is let us spend some time offline on the life cycle management. Again, I will reach out to Nirav to complete the update and send a note before the meeting for us to review. It's critically important for us to complete that. Then I think the other one is we said like before the deadline, let us make sure our presentations are completed. Okay, if nothing else, thank you, team. We will see you next week. And thank you for new participants joining this team. Thank you.
Thanks, Sami.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a great weekend.
Bye.